Well, welcome to today's episode on the Smart Money Show. Okay, we'll be looking at what is happening in the market globally, possible trades to take, notable events globally, and all that. So let's quickly dive right into the market. But before we begin, I just want to say that this is strictly for educational purpose, and it is not um, it is not a financial advice. Okay, so we'll go right at it. This week we'll be having a couple of high impact news. Okay, firstly we'll be looking at the dollar. We're looking at the dollar news this week. Majorly, we'll be having the NFP NFP news coming in on Friday. Okay, so dollar will be on my watch list. Okay, so just a quick one. We'll see for this week, we have the dollar index coming in on Friday majorly. That is the major news for this week. The NFP on Friday, which is May 2nd. Okay. The another important news will be the card news. Okay, that will be coming in by Wednesday. Yeah, GDP and employment cost index for card. Then on that's on Wednesday we have the one major important is German preliminary CPI. Then same on Wednesday early in the morning we have CPI for the AUD. So those are the major news coming in. So let's dive right into the market. The FX index we're looking at the dollar index. Okay, so for a couple of days now, short for a couple of months, the dollar index has been on a downward spiral, and it's currently testing a very key support zone. Looking at it from the weekly time frame, it's testing 100. Currently priced at 99. So I'll be hoping for a little pullback to the upside. If you ask me, I'll be looking for a little pullback for the upside and buying all the way up to around 105. That is my first take profit. That is if the dollar comes up positive on Friday. So going into next month, I want to see dollar buying. Okay, that's that. Then still on currencies, my first currency, if dollar comes up positive, I'll be looking firstly on USD CHF buy. It's also at a very key support zone around 0.8 zone, and it's also a major trend line retest. So we have already have an engulfing candle on D1. So if we drop down to H4, we'll be looking at this trend line retest around this zone. Okay, so possibly a pullback to 0.8. That's the worst case scenario. And once that happens, as long as the dollar and the NFP comes up positive, we'll be seeing a buy to the upside for USDCHF. Next on the list will be USDJPY. Same analysis. Okay. We already have. We're looking at the dollar index. The USDJPY dropping to this support zone on the weekly time frame 1.04. Okay, and it's also a major trend line retest. And on H4 already have a trend line break. So we pull back to this other block. We already have a change of character as well. So a retracement to this fair value gap or this other block, which is at 1.04, will be a good level to buy it from. Same is applicable for USD CAD. USD CAD is just to break the trend line at H4. So I want to see the market drop down to 1.35 to be a good place to buy from. Those are my major watch list on the dollar index. Looking at GBP USD, okay, my key is also on my watch list, and I'll be looking at 1.35. That's the major zone that I see GBP USD buying back to, and before I want to see you pull back to 1.3. Okay, and all of these are all inched on the dollar index. The different pair I'll be looking at on Wednesday to trade if the news for CAD comes out positive is EuroCAD. And it's also testing a very key major resistance at around 1.06, which is a major resistance. Okay, looking back over the years, and we already have a few reversal candle on the weekly time frame that gave a very good liquidity sweep. So we'll be looking at a major sell-off soon at the break of this trend line. Okay, away from that, we'll be taking a quick look at a few cryptocurrency. There's been a lot of liquidity in the crypto markets. More USDT have been minted. Yeah, the SEC is giving approval for Ripple ETF. So many good news. Some central banks are already considering having Bitcoin as a reserve currency. That said, that would bring in a lot of liquidity into the crypto markets, and we'll be seeing a lot of bull run. Bitcoin has already started its bull run all the way from 76,000. It's currently at 94. Okay, and I want to see Bitcoin continue and break its previous high, hitting as much as all the way up to 126, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so 126. That'll be my first take profit with Bitcoin. I'm sure it's going to break that zone, but for now, I want to see that by the end of next month. But I would prefer to buy Ethereum over the BTC, over Bitcoin, because it has actually not moved. And if you look at the Ethereum very well, it's around 1,500. Please, as I'm speaking, if you have any question, you can do well to ask, and I'll be sure to answer any of your question as the section progresses. Okay, so Ethereum is currently around 1,500, and we already have a pin bar. This is a weekly time frame with a very good engulfing candle. So, and currently the market is ranging, but I see Ethereum worst case scenario, maybe just a little pullback to retest this 1.5 zone, or like a retest of a trend line, and we'll be seeing the market pushing up. So if you're joining Ethereum, my first take profit is 3,000, and my stop loss should be just around 1,200. That would be my stop loss. My first take profit 3,000, but I don't mind seeing Ethereum hitting 5,000 this time around in this bull run. Okay, yeah, or other crypto that we could consider, if you ask me, is Ripple. Is already pulling up. I see Ripple hitting above $3, $3.5, and heading all the way up to $4 possibly in this bull run. So let's watch out for Ripple. Aside Ripple, we also have Dogecoin. But away from crypto, we're going to take a look at a few stocks. A few stocks that we can buy and see if we can take advantage. So number one on my list is Tesla. Tesla just got around on the weekly time frame around the 200 level zone, and we have very good candlestick pattern. We have a good trend line break. So we're looking at more buys to the upside for Tesla. My first take profit was around 400, possibly hitting all the way up to $500. So apart from Tesla, the Meta as a company, it's also a very good stock to get in the US. Okay, Meta Incorporated, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram. Okay, it's that time of the year to have a very good investment. Currently, price hits 500 per dollar, and I see it going all the way up to 700. heading all the way to possibly 800, but my first take profit will be 700 per dollar, and possibly if we test of this major trend line from the weekly time frame, that will be seeing Meta heading all the way to 800 per share. And next on my list is the Apple stock. Okay, it's already buying, but it just break a major level, and that is 209. So I don't mind seeing it retest to 275. So if you want to join, ensure to apply proper money management. So what I do most of the time is I don't risk more than 1% of my trade on any position, on any commodity or any pair at all, or crypto. All right, apply proper money management. Okay, and set your stop loss, and you're good take profits. So aside Apple, also looking at Amazon. Amazon currently hit a very key level 175. I see it going back up to 225, possibly hitting 275 all the way up. So that'll also be a good investment. Sure to set a stop loss around 163. Okay, 163, and I think it just broke a trend line, so I think it's a good one to go into. Alphabet Incorporated, which is Google, okay, and all Google products. Are also a very good stock to get into. Price currently at 150. I see Google getting all the way up to 200. That's my first take profit, previous high, and I see a break to more highs to around $125. Okay, a stock that has been buying for a very long time for now is Netflix, but I'm expecting a pullback very soon. Okay, it's under my watch list, so if it gets to around 1,002, I should see pullback down to around 750 where one can buy. So if you're holding Netflix stocks around 1,200, you're thinking of pulling out some profits, then set a good break even. Okay, S&P 500 has been on the uptrend. It's one of the trade we called since last week. So I want to see it. I want to see it hitting a previous high around 6,000 before I say pullback. So I don't see any major pullback right now on S&P 500. That also includes US 30 and other indices. Okay. The economy is rebounding, and we'll be seeing more buys to the upside. Well, I think that is what we have currently for this week. If you have any question, you can ask. Okay, and do well if you need in case for needs for mentorship, account management, just name it. You can send us a message directly on our DM, and we'll be sure to attend to your needs. All right. So that will be all for this week. See you next week, and always ensure to take profits and apply proper money management on all your trades. Thank you.